Like many people have said before, you're always one decision away from a totally different life. When making a decision about whether you want to go to a community college or a university, you should always keep in mind the steps that you might have to go through in order to make that decision. As once a college student, I'm sure you've all went through that process already. Even if it was just for a brief moment and you wanted to decide if you wanted to go to a college that was close to home or further away from home. Today I will be explaining the process that you have to go through in order to make a decision about college. And you do so by making a pros and cons list, talking to people who can relate, and then finally making the decision. First and foremost, you want to be able to make a pros and cons list in order to decide what type of college you want to attend. What you should include or keep in mind when you're making this pros and cons list is financial status, meaning if you go and choose to go to a university, then are you going to be able to financially stable yourself? Are you going to be able to pay for the tuition on top of food and the dorm and your books that you're going to have to buy? Another thing to add to the pros and cons list, or you should keep in mind, is your personal major. So whether or not the community college or the university is going to provide the best major for you and the best classes and program for you to take. Also, you should keep in mind the emotional and mental status that you're in. So are you going to be able to mentally and emotionally be able to handle if you go away for college or if you stay close to home for college? According to Ruth Chang in a TED Talk that she stated, she talked about how when you're making a big decision, you have to go through the little decision as well. So it's okay to make little decisions along the way. Making the little decisions in order to get up to the big decisions makes it clearer and more understanding, and it'll make your decision in the end easier to make. Furthermore, when making this decision about which college you want to go to, you should always talk to people who went through the process already and confide in them, because that also helps with making the decision process easier. According to Abigail Brenner, who is MD, who has her MD in psychology, she stated that when you're making a big decision, parents, in her case, or people, have to be reliable and dependable so that you can talk to them and be able to get opinions from them and understand how they went through the process themselves, so that you can understand it and then you can take it with yourself and apply it. When choosing the people to talk to about going through this process of decision making for college, you want to make sure that those people aren't biased, because if they're biased, they might cloud your judgment on how a community college is or how a university is, and you don't want that. So when you're choosing the people to talk to, make sure that you trust them and that you listen to their opinions, because then you can take it with you and apply it to whatever decision you're going to be making, but in this case, what type of college you want to go to. Now that you've made a pros and cons list and talked to people who are experienced in this, it's now time to make your final decision. From an article that I read, they stated that we can do good by making good decisions about how we use our world and the things in it for our benefits. This quote summed up everything I was saying. So once you use your resources, like the people around you who went through the experience, and your pros and cons list, once you weighed it out and seen your pros and seen your cons, then it'll be easier to make a final decision. When you use your resources in life and everybody around you and all the stuff that I stated before, it'll put your mind at ease and it'll make your final decision easier to make. Today I spoke about the decision process making that you have to go through when you are choosing what type of college to attend to, whether it's community college or a university. And you do that by making a pros and cons list, talking to people who already went through it and experienced it, and making the final decision in the end. Like Stephen Richards said, no matter whether you believe in luck or chance, the final decision is from yourself. Thank you.